We're here in the conservatory of Powell Gardens. Powell Gardens is just outside of Kansas City, Missouri, and we're here at a very special time. There's a lot going on here. This is David Bird, you're a horticulturist with Powell Gardens, and has a special interest in butterflies, right? And you've got a lot of butterflies here in this conservatory right now.
Yeah, 700 to 800 butterflies are in flight right now.
700 to 800 right now. And this is for a festival of butterflies you had over the weekend, right?
Yes.
It's really, really neat. What's this guy right here?
This is called a giant swallowtail.
Yeah.
It's the largest swallowtail in North America. And the reason we have that one is because it is one of the best flyers.
Is that right? So they go way up?
They go up, way up into the netting.
Yeah.
And of course they just seem to love to nectar on the plants.
So they're a good performer. Now you've got some other things here that are kind of like set up to show the home gardener what to provide for butterflies if you want to keep butterflies in your garden, like I saw a little mud bath over there. Can we take a look at that?
Yes,
Great.
let's go take a look.
Okay, now David, what we got here, it looks like a great big saucer, right? And you've got it filled with just plain old garden dirt.
Right.
And a fair amount of water so it puddles.
Right.
And then some rocks in here so that the butterflies have places to land, dry places to land. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, now tell me, why are they doing this?
Something that butterflies do is what's called puddling.
Yeah.
And that's where the butterfly lands into a muddy area, and it can, for moisture for one, and then they can also absorb some of the salts and nutrients that are in the soil.
Any home gardener can do the same thing just by finding just a dirt area and adding enough water so that it makes these puddles.
Key is to keep it in a bright, sunny area.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
They won't do this in the shade.
No, they really don't seem to go into the shady areas
that's
too much to
interesting.
puddle. They like to have an open, sunny area. If just the soil is wet
Wet.
and muddy, then that's really where the areas that they would go to.
So on this dry branch here, I can see you got a whole bunch of chrysalises. What about a dry branch do they like, David?
In nature, where the caterpillar would crawl up the stem of this tree or the trunk, and it would form as chrysalis right on there. And a lot of cases, they wouldn't want to form it on a leaf because
Right.
the leaf might fall off or
Yeah.
get eaten. So they would try to find a good, secure place to form their
Well,
chrysalis.
that's interesting. Now this one is not open yet?
Right, that's a queen,
Yeah.
and that's similar to a monarch, only it's darker coloration.
And you can tell just by the color and the shape of the chrysalis what's inside there.
Right.
Wow, that's great. And so what's the order? This caterpillar comes first.
The egg is first. The butterfly lays an egg.
Yep.
And then it maybe takes about a week for the egg to hatch
Okay.
into a caterpillar.
Okay.
And generally, the caterpillar would feed for 3 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And then it would form a chrysalis, which is this stage here, and this is how we get most of ours in.
Okay, so then a lot of these butterflies that are flying around right now might be laying eggs. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay, and then after that, then the caterpillar comes. Caterpillar eats for 3 weeks,
Forms the chrysalis,
forms a chrysalis.
emerges as an adult butterfly, and lives for a week to 10 days.
So what have we got here, David?
Now, this is a passion vine.
Oh yeah, I can tell it is. That's right. Oh, look at here. What's this?
Those are the eggs of a zebra.
Is that right? Does a zebra know to come here and lay its eggs just on this particular plant?
That's right, it's
Wow,
the host plant.
Isn't that wild?
So this is the plant they're looking for the caterpillars to feed on. Usually what they do is they like to be up on the edge or on the tips of the tendrils or the newest leaves.
Right.
So then as the caterpillars emerge, then they'll feed on the newest, most succulent leaves.
Uh-huh. Now, so a homeowner should know that when they see those caterpillars on there and they're eating something that, if they want butterflies, they shouldn't destroy the caterpillars, right?
Right, and not be spraying any chemicals in their garden.
Okay, got
no
it.
fungicides or insecticides.
Okay.
Otherwise, you don't get butterflies
All
if you eliminate them.
Fantastic.
And then you see these little spots right there?
Right.
You want to take a guess what those are?
I have no idea.
That is the plant's mechanism for defense to prevent the insect from laying too many eggs on there.
Because they look like eggs, don't they?
Right, they're supposed to look like eggs to the insect, and then the butterfly will say, there's eggs on there, I better go somewhere else.
Now, you tell me, how in the world does that plant know to make those little things, huh?
This is a unique situation to see this caterpillar, and it's just in the process of forming its chrysalis.
What are these guys?
Those are tiger swallowtails, and now they're attaching themselves to this glass, and they're getting ready to form their chrysalis also.
Man, they look like little monsters. Those little markings look like eyes, don't they?
Yeah, that's what those are eyes, as far as they're not functional, but they're to scare away a bird or a predator.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. So if you see these guys in your garden, don't destroy them if
Right.
you want butterflies.
That's correct.
Does every species of butterfly have its own favorite plant for it to go and eat and make a caterpillar or a chrysalis on?
Right, yeah.
So, like, just one or several different kinds of plants?
Could be several different types of plants, like the black swallowtails, like parsley
Right.
and fennel
Uh-huh.
and dill. That's their three main
Interesting.
host plants.
Now, this is a willow, right?
This is just a willow that we had growing outside along our parking lot,
Yep.
and I found some viceroys on it.
Okay, so now, so the chrysalises of the viceroys like the willow for some reason.
Yeah,
Oh.
the caterpillar feeds on the leaves of the willow.
Yeah.
See that white in the
Yeah.
back? That is, caterpillar is trying to look like a bird dropping.
Well, it does. So what's going on here?
Oh, this is our immersion case, and this is where our chrysalis come in. Let's see if I can coax one out here, Court, to show you this butterfly that's just come out.
Oh my gosh, you got them right on your finger.
Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
And this one's only been out just in the last hour.
This is the one of the orange bar sulfurs, right?
Right.
And there's an orange bar that's on the inside of their wings?
Yep, on the top. Right.
Fantastic. Oh, you can see kind of inside. And look at here, when they're still inside the chrysalis, you can see that orange bar. So the chrysalis is actually kind of transparent.
Yeah, they become transparent just as the butterfly is ready to emerge.
Okay, so the chrysalis is going to open up on this end and kind of just split,
Yeah.
and the butterfly drops out, and it takes about 2 minutes, is that right?
Yep.
And then it just hangs there on it until it's comfortable enough to get up and fly around.
Yeah, it fully pumps up the wings
Uh-huh.
with fluid, and then they harden.
Oh,
and I
really?
think that's the process that takes the longest time, is for it to harden so they're ready to fly.
Fantastic. This is unbelievable. Shall we go outside and take a look too?
Yeah, let's show you our nectar garden.
The one that just attracts the butterflies from the outside. That'll be
Yes.
great. Wonderful. Let's do it. I can see that there are a lot of butterflies out here as well.
Oh, yes.
What's any requirements for home gardeners? Well, if they want to establish their own butterfly garden, is there something special that they need to think about?
Yeah, the first thing is to make sure it's out in an open, sunny area.
Sunny and open,
Right.
not in the shade.
Yeah, butterflies don't like shade too
You
well.
said something about them being solar powered.
Right.
What do you mean by that?
Well, a butterfly works off the sun, and in the morning they'll try to absorb enough heat to be able to fly out and nectar.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so they like to be in areas where, of course, it's sunny, warm, and best areas for flying.
All right, now you've got a nice combination of plants here, some of which I recognize. And tell us about the difference between a nectar plant and a host plant. There's two basic things, right?
Right. A nectar plant is basically what plants that we have in this garden, where we want butterflies to come and nectar from to feed.
Just to feed.
Right.
Okay, now a host plant then is what?
A host plant is the one that the butterfly lays the eggs on,
Right.
and then the egg hatches into a caterpillar, and then the caterpillar eats that plant.
Or part of it anyway.
Right. Usually
Right.
the leaves.
And
yeah.
then do they form the chrysalis on that plant as well?
They might, or they might look for a rock or a
Or
branch.
a dry branch like
Yeah.
inside. Okay, so here's one that's real familiar. This is the butterfly bush, right?
Right. That's what most people plant in their yards to attract butterflies.
And this is a nectar plant.
Yep.
And so a lot of different butterflies visit it just for the food, for the
Just
nectar.
for the nectar, yeah.
Buddleia
Davidii.
davidii.
Yeah,
Okay,
I like that one.
I do too. Now, this is one of my all-time favorite annuals. This is the Tithonia rotundifolia,
Right.
Mexican sunflower.
Very good.
All right,
Yeah.
great orange color. It's got that landing pad shape for the
Mm-hmm.
for the butterfly to come down to, and then they can go right in there and get the nectar in there. Great as a cut flower too.
Yes.
And-
And they go to it repeatedly each day, so the plant obviously is producing a lot of nectar.
Now this comes in a yellow this year too, as well
Yeah.
as orange.
We had a brand new one in a gold color
Great.
this year, and that's also performed very well.
Now, what would you say would be the top 4 plants to attract butterflies, either from nectar or host plants?
The nectar plants, the Tithonia is definitely one of
Great.
their favorites. You can see the black swallowtails
look
there
at 'em go.
are just
Wow.
going for that one. The Verbena bonariensis,
This is a great plant. This is an annual here?
it's an annual.
Okay, because I think in some parts of the country it's a perennial, and it's sometimes sold as Buenos Aires
Verbena.
verbena.
Right.
Beautiful plant.
Once you have that one, you always have it because it reseeds.
So this reseeds for you here.
Yes.
That's a great
So then
looking
in the
lavender.
spring, you go out and you see the seedlings in the garden, and then we edit out the ones we don't
Great.
want.
Okay, so the Tithonia, the verbena, what's another couple really good ones?
Really good ones would be lantana.
Lantana, and
And
we
we'll-
can look at those over
Yep,
here.
we'll go down
Great.
and see those.
Great. Okay, on our way to go look at the lantana, I see something else here that I recognize, and that's the so-called butterfly weed, right?
Right.
And this is Asclepias
Quercevica.
This is a yellow form, and then the orange form, which a lot of people grow, is Asclepias tuberosa.
That's correct.
Great. This is awfully pretty, this yellow gold color.
No, this is just an annual. This isn't perennial.
Okay.
It doesn't come back each year. We have to replant it.
And this is a nectar plant for all kinds
Right.
of butterflies.
And a host plant for the monarchs.
And a host plant for the monarch.
Yes.
So if you plant this, you get double duty out of it.
Right. You get the caterpillars, they eat the foliage, and then of course, you get the monarch butterflies. And then once you have the plant in bloom, then you're able to get all different types. There's a giant swallowtail right now,
Fantastic.
nectaring on it.
Wow.
So you can see they just love it.
Fantastic. Okay, now you said about these verbena, right? Or lantana. not
Lantana
verbena. They
is
always
this
get
plant here. And this is actually a
Wow.
tropical, and we grow it as an annual.
Yep.
And this is like Baskin Robbins to the butterflies. This is like, oh,
Really?
they just love this one.
Why? Is it because of the nectar is particularly sweet or something?
Well, it seemed like there must be abundance of nectar there
Wow.
for them.
Great. And so not a host plant, but a nectar plant for a whole bunch of
Yes.
different kinds of
Yep.
butterflies. Okay, so then the home gardener should look for open space,
Mhm.
lots of sun, and plant the really popular plants that butterflies really like. And that means, like when it comes to marigolds and whatnot, let's go over here and take a look.
Okay.
I see you've planted the real open ones, the
Mhm.
almost single varieties. Now why?
Right, both in marigolds and zinnias.
Yeah.
The new hybridizers are coming out with, of course, the great big double beautiful
Big dense,
things.
right, yeah.
But no nectar in those.
Aha.
So that doesn't do anything for butterflies.
Okay, so what you want then is these single,
correct.
and I guess this is where the nectar is right
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
And so they're able to get in there with their proboscis to
Yeah.
get the nectar out. And so even if the big ones have nectar, they can't get to it.
It's too tightly packed.
Yeah.
Good advice.
And the zinnias are also a good one. This is Zinnia linaris.
Yeah, this is the low growing. Gee, that's a nice little
Mhm.
thing, isn't it?
We love these. These plants are great. All the different colors that they come out with now.
And this is popular as a nectar plant as well.
Yes, correct.
And you can have a beautiful garden that not only attracts butterflies, but is good for cut flowers and for ornamental use as well, right?
Yeah,
Man.
you got it all.
I'm going to do one of these when I get home. But, you know, aside from the obvious, David, that they're beautiful things to have in your garden, they're like, you know, bits of flying poetry. I mean, it really makes the garden come alive. Are there any practical reasons for having butterflies in your garden?
Oh, yeah, definitely. The butterflies are great pollinators.
Oh, I didn't know that. Just like bees then.
Yeah, that's
Huh.
correct. And so that they are pollinating the flowers in your vegetables, so you get more vegetables, maybe your fruit trees.
Really?
Anything that requires pollination, the butterflies are, you know, earning their keep.
They're earning their keep, not just another beautiful face, right?
Correct.
Now, how about color-wise? Are there favorite colors for butterflies?
It seems like they're attracted to the warmer colors, like reds, oranges, and yellows.
Oh, is that right? Huh, now, then that's borne out by what you planted here. You can really notice that they'd rather go to the warm colors than to, say, lavenders or pinks or something like that.
Well, from what we're learning more and more about butterflies, they're saying pink is really a popular butterfly color.
So maybe the thing to do is just to experiment with it at home and to try to see which ones in your own area really attract butterflies. Okay, and you also said that given a choice that butterflies will pick a high flower as opposed to a low one, right?
Yeah, they seem to go to the higher flowers first because they probably feel safer.
Right.
And then as the nectar sources are depleted, then they seem to go down to the lower ones.
Second choice, second tier. I can't tell you how great this has been, David. Thanks a lot for taking all this time and showing us so many fabulous things. It's
Thanks
been
for coming
really
out.
wonderful. Hope to come out again sometime.
Oh, anytime.